Hello everyone watching the video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a recent project that I've been working on, and this isn't anything 1/64 scale related. I'm just taking a break from that for a moment, but I'll go ahead and show you what I've been doing here, and here it is. And this is my custom HO scale Dodge from Thomas and the Magic Railroad. And this was a build commissioned by the YouTuber Captain Rolls. Some of you probably know him as Eddie Rolls. His real name is Eddie. But he commissioned Dodge sometime back in, I think, fall of 2017, along with a couple other models he wanted me to work on. And that's part of why it's taken so long to complete Dodge, is he was a little further down on the list than some of the other model projects that he had for me. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how I built Dodge, and some of it's probably self-explanatory, but for starters, he's made from the Bachmann diesel, and for those of you that have the model, you'll know that the front portion of the model is opened because this is where the working eye mechanism is, and that was the first thing that had to be addressed, and pretty easy to fix. Just went in with some styrene at the front there, cut the shape and size, and then went back and went over it with some putty, and afterwards sanded it down for a smooth surface. But after that was taken care of, the model was basically ready for paint. So I gave it an undercoat of gray primer, which is actually what this is. It was close to the color I wanted, so it's like, well, just leave well enough alone. And I mixed up some yellow paint, which I felt came pretty close to the color I needed for Dodge, and that was put on the front of the model, along the sides, and the cab here. And also went ahead and painted the windows with some satin black paint. Now I have seen some modelers with their models, they'll actually go in and cut the windows out, open up the cab. My personal opinion, I see no point in that, because once you open the cab up, all you do is expose the internal workings of the model, and it's really not that appealing. So my personal opinion is just go in and paint the windows and leave it at that. But another thing, the side rods, those were originally silver or unpainted metal, whichever. Gave them a coat of gray primer and then some satin black, and that was basically it for those. But once the painting was done, I went ahead and moved on to decaling the model. And these are custom-made decals I made myself. They're water slide decals. They're not like what some modelers out there will use. They'll just print out images or logos or text on regular printer paper and then cut them out and glue them to the model. No, these are water slide decals that I used, and Eddie actually requested that I used water slide decals, and I'm kind of on the same page as he is. I think the days of just slapping on paper, printer paper, what have you, onto your models, I think that's a thing of the past. So yeah, it was one of those deals. Went with water slide decals, and I actually got these decals from the YouTuber Bluebells 5529. He sent me he actually had the vectors left over from when he did his Splatter and Dodge projects, and I actually have here decals for Splatter if Eddie ever decides that he wants me to do a Splatter project for him, which, I mean, he probably will, so I have those for a future project if needed. But yeah, and once I got the decals applied, I went ahead and brushed on some microsol, which is basically a decal setting solution. It softens the decal, helps it conform better to the model, and gives it somewhat of a more painted on look as opposed to like a sticker look. But after decals were on, the model was ready for weathering, and I use a technique for weathering where I call it a dry brush method. I'll put a little bit of paint on a paintbrush and basically brush it across a piece of cardboard to soak up most of the paint, and then what's left I'll go ahead and start brushing on the model. And you can see here how I do it. The trick is to only brush in one direction, but you get this streaking, like dirty, grimy, oily look, and I think it turned out pretty good. You can see all over the model like that. on this side here too, and even on the front. And the chassis I used sort of like a dirt color, but it's the same deal as the top of the model. Like I said, the chassis is just more of like a dirty dirt color. And I think I got it pretty close. There's some people, you know, it's based on perspective how dirty a model needs to be. Like some people say, oh, you know, it's too dirty or it's not dirty enough. You know, it's more or less based on perspective, someone's own perspective of how they look at the locomotive they're attempting to weather. And, you know, I just used pictures from Magic Railroad of Dodge for reference. But, yeah, I'd say it turned out pretty good on the weathering, though. And the last thing is the face. And the face was taken off of a Tomy Trackmaster Dodge. Eddie found one on eBay that was missing parts and went ahead and snatched it up, sent it to me, and I just cut the face off and put it on the model here with blue stick or blue tack, whichever you prefer. And yeah, that was basically it. Reassembled the model and called it a day at that. Now, the only thing I'd probably do at this point, and I mean, I'd have to ask Eddie if that's what he wants or not, but I'd possibly consider giving this model a matte clear coat to dull it down a little bit, because I noticed the decals have a glossy finish to them, and that's partially because I used a clear gloss coat over the decals, basically to seal them, and that's recommended before you apply them to the model. So you know, it's one of those deals, the matte clear coat would do away with that gloss on there. But I mean, overall, I still say Dodge turned out pretty good, and kind of enjoyed this project. I don't do a lot of HO scale modeling these days, mainly just because, you know, I'm not into it myself, but I've been doing model projects for Eddie for years, and this is another gem that I'm quite proud of personally. So yeah, there you have it, my custom HO scale Dodge. So that's gonna do it, I guess. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, feel free to comment and subscribe, hit that like button, you know, all that stuff. I don't even know why I bother saying it, but yep, take care everyone, and thanks for watching.